Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Steggy again, back with yet another Disney Lorcana video. And in today's video, I'm going to be looking at some of the Sapphire cards that I haven't gotten a chance to review yet. And actually, as I pulled up the list here, I realized there's really not a lot that I haven't covered, just a few. I did cover a couple cards with the awesome folks over at Instinct TCG. You can check that out. It was super fun. I really enjoyed that. So we talked about Ariel, Who's It Collector, and also we didn't talk about Donald Duck, but I talked about Donald Duck actually in one of my card of the day videos. I haven't edited that yet, but I do want to have that up. I also just recently talked about Merlin, so I think I'm just going to be focusing on these top 4 cards here. This isn't going to be like a super long video or anything, because there's only a few cards I haven't gone over. So let's just go ahead and dive in. First up, I do want to talk about Triton, the Sea King. Now, this guy is a 7 cost Sapphire card. They're all Sapphire. He is inkable, which means you can place him into your inkwell. He has 5 strength, 9 willpower, and he quests for 2 lore. He has no other abilities. He's a vanilla character. He is uncommon as far as his rarity goes, and he also has King as a classification. So, you know, we've seen a few of these cards with King, and maybe this will be a thing, maybe not, who knows, right? But again, I just felt that I should mention it. Currently, Triton, King Triton, has the highest willpower out of like any character we've seen so far. He's huge. When he comes down, outside of a removal spell, it's going to be pretty difficult for your opponent to take him out. Now, the 2 lore that he has when he quests for 2 lore, that's not bad. It's not terrible. There are other characters that cost 6, like in Sapphire, like Robin Hood, for example. And we also have the Sapphire Scar, who is also 6 cost, who could also quest for 2 lore. But the trade-off is for 1 extra resource, for 1 extra ink, you're going to get a whole lot of willpower. It's going to take several characters challenging into Triton to take him out. Unless your opponent has like some support shenanigans or something like that, but that's still them using a lot of resources to get rid of 1 card. When Triton comes down, you could just freely quest, or you can use him to challenge your opponent's characters because he's going to stick around. His 5 strength is very respectable. I mean, he can take out cards like Robin Hood, you know, for example, Scar, as I already mentioned, but he can also take out, say, Giant Fairy Tinkerbell. He can take her out in 1 shot, and she can only do half damage to him. Less than half, actually. She only does 4 points of damage, and Triton has 9 willpower. He is a big target for removal, because it is more beneficial to use like a Dragonfire or a Let It Go, which is just 1 card, versus having 3 or so characters challenge into him to get him off the field. So for his value, like his stats and costs, I actually really like him. He's a very good ramp target in any sort of Sapphire deck. Being able to put him down like on your 5th turn or your 6th turn, depending on how you ramp, that's really good. Very difficult for your opponent to remove. I like him. I think he's a very solid vanilla card and a really solid card to ramp into, especially in the first set. So I'm giving him like a solid 7 out of 10. I think he's good, you know, as soon as he hits the table. He's good offensively for challenging, and defensively too. Like if you're just questing with him, your opponent's probably not going to challenge into him. That's really difficult. So I like him. He's a good ramp target. So next up, let's go ahead and talk about If It's Not Baroque here. Actually, I kind of like not clicking on the card. So If It's Not Baroque is an action card. Now, this card costs 3 ink, but it's not inkable, and it has a very simple effect. It reads, return an item card from your discard to your hand. Right now, we only have 2 cards that really destroy items, and both of those are in steel. And that is, of course, Break, the action card, and the Steel Beast card we have, which has the Break effect on him. So for 5 ink, you can play Beast, and he comes down and he can destroy an item. Or for only 2 ink, you can play the action card and have the same effect. Now, with that being said, there aren't really any other colors that destroy ink right now, or not destroy ink, but destroy items, and we might actually not really see that. A lot of the items we do have, you tend to run a couple copies on the field, with people, say, playing Beast Mirror quite a bit, and a lot of people are playing, say, Steel in mirror matchups. More and more people realize, oh hey, I should have at least 2 copies of Beast Mirror in play, in case my opponent uses a beast or uses a break action card to destroy one. In most cases, there's going to be several copies of the same item in play. Losing one isn't really a big deal. We do have like at least one item that does have a one-time use and then goes into your discard, which I think is Frying Pan being the only one. But Frying Pan, you know, I reviewed that card like really early. I kind of like it. It's very niche, but you know, you use Frying Pan, you banish it, and now one of your opponent's characters can't quest. They can't challenge on your next turn. So you could use Baroque to get a Frying Pan back in order to do it again. It's a very niche card if it's not Baroque. If there are a lot of cards or items or something that do cause items to go into the discard, right? We have like characters, we have action cards, whatever. Yeah, maybe a couple copies of It's Not Baroque isn't terrible, so you can get other copies back. So maybe you do only have like one copy of Beast Mirror in play, or I don't know, one copy of Ursula's Shell Necklace, or Musketeers Tabard, or Tabard, you know, whatever. And if it does get destroyed, it does get banished, well, if It's Not Baroque can get that back. It's not terrible. It definitely has uses, but right now, I don't think it's just very strong. If we do see some more items that do have an effect, like, and you have to banish them, yeah, then I think It's Not Baroque getting that back would be really, really good. We haven't really seen that yet, but it's still a possibility. We still have about 52 cards left at the time of this recording. And with Lorcana week coming up, and actually probably when I have the video out, it will be Lorcana week, we very well might see a really good item with a banish effect. But until then, It's Not Baroque it's okay. Does it have uses? Yes. But it's more like, oh, I could just get my item back just because. So it's alright. You know, I would say 6 out of 10, but could go up if we have some other items. Alright, next up is one of my favorite cards revealed. It's Maleficent Uninvited. Now, this Maleficent is a 5 cost, and she is inkable, so you can place her into your inkwell. She has 3 strength, 6 willpower, and she quests for 3 lore. She's also a rare, and she has no other abilities, but she is a villain and a sorcerer for her classifications, so she might be able to be used in some sort of villain deck. I don't know if there's like a ton of other Sapphire villains right now, but that could change, right? That could change, but I still want to point it out. Regardless, a 3 lore character that can come out on, say, your turn 4 with only 1 ramp card. So, for example, on your 3rd turn, you could play Mickey Mouse Detective to get an extra ink into play. And then on your 4th turn, go ahead and play Maleficent. And now your opponent's going to have to use a removal card to get rid of her, or you're at least going to quest for 3. With her 6 willpower, that's actually going to be really difficult for your opponent to hit at that early stage of the game. So it's very possible you can get at least 2 quests out of her. That's 6 out of 20 lore. That's pretty good. That's really, really good. Just a few quests out of her is game changing. Absolutely fantastic card. She doesn't need to have any abilities or anything. I think she's just great because she can come down so early. She can get you a 3 lore very quickly, and she has a very high willpower with a respectable 3 strength. That 3 strength can definitely come in handy. Any character that challenges into her could very well be banished, right? It's very, very possible, especially at the early stages of the game. I like her. She has fantastic art. She's a great card, a really good card to ramp into. If you're playing a Sapphire Steel deck, highly recommend playing Maleficent. Heck, even if you're not playing, say, like, when I say Sapphire Steel, because, like, that's the only ramp. If you're playing Sapphire just in general, play this Maleficent. You won't regret it. She's really, really good. I love her. I mean, I would say a 9 out of 10 card. She might be simple, but the fact that she can come down early and get you a whole bunch of lore with her high willpower and respectable 3 strength is just so good. Really great card. And speaking of great cards, the last one I do want to talk about is another item card for Sapphire, and it's the Scepter of Arundel. Now, the Scepter of Arundel is a 1-cost item card, and it is inkable, so you can place it into your inkwell if you need to. It has a very simple effect called Command, and what that means is you can exert this card to give a chosen character support for that turn. That is fantastic. Support is a really, really good keyword because you don't need to do anything extra to make it work. Support happens when your character quests. So if you put support on, say, the Maleficent we talked about, Maleficent can quest for 3 lore. Now you can give Maleficent's 3 strength to another one of your characters, so you can have that character challenge into one of your opponent's characters and probably take them out. It's really, really good, especially if we combine it with, say, Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse Detective. Now Mickey Mouse Detective has 4 strength, because it's his 1 base, plus the 3 from Maleficent. That 4 strength is going to be able to take out a lot of characters at that stage of the game. Really, really good card. And even if you don't need it, you find like no use for it, you can just use it for ink. It's very cheap as well. For only 1 ink, you can fit it into like almost any turn. Absolutely amazing card. Being able to give support to something just because you're playing, you're just playing the game anyway, just gaining some questing and whatnot. That's so good. It is a fantastic card. It's also only an uncommon. I should mention that. It's also only an uncommon. Very easy to obtain. Absolutely wonderful card. Might even just be a staple in all Sapphire decks because giving support to any character is super good. That means you don't have to run characters, say, like Merlin, because Merlin does have support built in. With the Scepter of Arundel, you can give any character support. Merlin does advance your win condition. If you do play Merlin, you can still quest with him. You get 1 lore. You can use his 3 strength onto another character. So they both have their pros and cons, but I think the Scepter is just so good. Definitely should play in like almost, if not all, Sapphire decks because support is just so good. It's just easy. You just do it anyway. But alright, that's about it. I'm pretty sure I've covered, basically all of the Sapphire cards revealed so far. We're still missing quite a bit. I think we're missing like 14-ish cards, maybe like 12 cards, something like that, for Sapphire, so I'm looking forward to those. We also haven't received any legendary Sapphire cards. Everything has been a super rare and below. Actually, do we have a super rare? Oh, it's Dreaming Guardian, Maleficent. Oh, and Robin Hood, of course, are their super rares, but we don't have any legendaries yet, so I'm greatly looking forward to that. Need some more rares as well. It's going to be a good week. Lorcana week's going to be good, but Sapphire has some good stuff, especially with their ramp cards like Mickey Mouse and One Jump Ahead. Those are really solid cards. I really, really like them. Dreaming Guardian Aurora is a fantastic card. She's going to be top tier, for a while. I'm a huge fan of Robin Hood. Mastermind Scar, the Sapphire Scar, is really good. Let It Go is fantastic. I think this Maleficent, Sinister Visitor Maleficent, she's been power crept. Like the other Maleficent is just better, unfortunately. But there are some really good Sapphire cards, and I'm looking forward to more. So, but alright, that's been my Sapphire, quick overview. Some of the cards I haven't gone over. I really like them. Let me know what cards you like, from Sapphire. Maybe anything you're looking forward to. I personally like, Maleficent Uninvited. And Mickey Mouse Detective is actually one of my favorite blue cards. I think he's just fantastic. I say blue, but I mean Sapphire. Alright, this is probably, good enough. Thanks for watching. You stay safe out there. Make good decisions, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.